Now, if you're a tech buff, you'd be aware that Google is having a really terrible week. The tech giant is facing a string of antitrust probes and lawsuits in different parts of the world. In America, several state attorneys general are all set to file an antitrust lawsuit against Google. This is for monopolizing its Play Store on Android phones. In Europe, the EU is probing Google's misuse of power in the online ad market. And in India, an investigation has been launched by the country's antitrust body. It is probing if Google is misusing its position in the smart TV market. I know that's a lot to keep track of. So we've simplified a few things here. Some questions surrounding these developments. What explains these antitrust lawsuits and investigations? And how much trouble is Google in? Here's a report.
Let's begin with some basics. What is an antitrust lawsuit? It's simply a form of legal action brought against parties who are charged with limiting free competition in the market. In simpler words, such lawsuits prevent companies from creating a monopoly. And who knows better about building monopolies than big tech? The likes of Facebook, Amazon, Apple, and Twitter. They've all faced antitrust lawsuits in the past. The latest addition could be Google. In the United States, a group of state attorney generals are planning to file a lawsuit against Google as early as next week. What triggered this? Numerous complaints, primarily from app developers who accuse the tech giant of mismanaging its Play Store at their expense. This includes apps like Spotify and Tinder, which have time and again slammed Google for demanding mandatory revenue sharing. Over the years, a plethora of antitrust complaints have been filed by many such apps. A lawsuit too has been in the works for years, and after much delay, it finally seems to be close again. So what exactly is this lawsuit about? According to reports, it will primarily focus on two clauses that Google is said to be misusing. One, making it mandatory for some apps to use Google's payment tools to sell subscription. And two, making the same app share as much as 30% of their sales with Google. Why is this lawsuit such a big deal? Because it's going to be a bipartisan effort, involving both the Democratic and Republican parties together looking into the monopolistic powers of Google. It is unclear how many states will participate, but the case is likely to be filed in Northern California, with the Attorney Generals of Utah, Tennessee, North Carolina, and New York leading the investigation. The trial may only take place in 2022, and Google is already defiant. A Google spokesperson has said, Android is the only major operating system that allows people to download apps from multiple app stores. In fact, most Android devices ship with 2 or more app stores pre-installed. They can also install additional app stores or apps directly from their browser if they choose. Now, as the search giant awaits a setback in its home country, thousands of miles away in Europe, it has already suffered one. Antitrust authorities in the European Union have opened a formal investigation into Google's role and functioning in the online ad market. According to the EU, the probe will assess whether Google has violated the EU's competition rules by favoring its online advertising technology and hurting competition. The probe will try to find out if Google is restricting user data access to third parties and reserving such data for its own advertising purposes. The next challenge will be in India. The Competition Commission of India, the country's antitrust watchdog, has ordered an investigation into allegations that Google has abused the dominant position of Android in India's smart TV market. The commission has said, and I quote, "By making pre-installation of Google's apps for all Android devices manufactured by device manufacturers, Google has reduced the ability and incentive of device manufacturers to develop and sell devices operating on alternative versions of Android. The concerns are not manufactured. In 2019, 8 million smart TVs were sold in India, out of which 60% were powered with Google's Android operating system. Why was this operating system installed? Was it in compliance with India's laws? The probe will find out. From America to the European Union and India, it's been a tough week for Google. And the days ahead don't look any better. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.